Yo, what's up, Boom Bap family? Welcome back to another video. It's me. They call me Heat. I'm about to go link up with Tracklib. We're about to cook up a new video. I'm not gonna tell you what it is yet, but just stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, Tracklib TV. It's Christmas time, as you can see. Let me focus into the tree back there. Yeah. So I'm gonna go link up with Tracklib. So yeah, let's hop in the whip. Let's go to the studio, Crack House Recording Studio. Let's go, y'all.
Oh, what's up, man? He borrowed Jay-Z's authority, borrowed Jay-Z's face, and then so you would think like, okay, who's some of the most influential boom bap producers of all time?
DJ Premier.
DJ Premier, right? So you do a video with DJ Premier's face, talk about him for a little bit, and then you go and you steal the show and you start making a beat.
We just shot the intro and hook for the new Boom Bap versus Trap video.
You guys, who do you think is gonna win? Who won the first time? It's pretty even.
The people say. What do people say?
I think more people said that Trap won.
I'm gonna let y'all know when that drop. Y'all check that out when it does drop. So let me start this by saying this. I love sampling, like a painter. When you grab a record, that's like a red. You grab another record, that's like a green, And you take these colors and you put them together, pieces of the record, chopping them up, putting them together, and then making this art piece. We're painters, essentially. We're all painters as creatives. I wanted to just kind of talk to you all about 3 solid important things that helped me become a better boom bap producer. I learned these things early on from Jay Dilla, but of course over the years I developed my own thing. I developed how to do things on my own without relying or going back and listening to Dilla and seeing how he did certain things or using his technique every single time. So the first thing that I want to talk about, the most obvious thing, is sampling as itself. Jay Dilla, and he taught me about just grabbing pieces from different things, not just relying on, a loop. Looping a sample you don't always have to do. You can find different pieces, of the record or the song or whatever and chop it up. Let's say you can't or don't know how to program drums. Your best option would be to just loop the drum loop. But Dilla taught me and showed me that I can take a horn stab from here, I can take a string stab from here, I can take a piano hit from here, I can do all these different things and make a masterpiece out of that just with these separate pieces without relying on a loop. Dilla did do a lot of looping. He reprogrammed a lot of those loops that you hear. Once you chop it up and you get to reprogramming it, now you've created a brand new loop. So a lot of things that we thought were loops, no, he was that good to where he knew how to chop the sample and recreate a new loop. That's how I got into chopping into 16 beats, 32 beats, things like that, starting to understand how that works. So even going back to just, talking about drum loops and drums, when you have a drum loop, you can take the snare, you can take the kick, and you can use that as your own drum sound, your own kick sound, your own snare sound, or create a brand new loop. One of my favorite things that I learned as a boom bap producer, and also from Jay Dilla as well, is swing. But swing is like a groove. When we talk about swing and we talk about bounce, that's just a groove. There's a humanization thing that happens, right? When you think about like Questlove, you think about just drummers in general, and that humanization aspect that's there is what we're trying to like capture through the whole track, though, not just with the drum. I'll give you a trick. So I learned from Black Milk years ago. He likes to keep the kick and the snare on point, and then when he puts the hi-hats in, that kind of has that laggy feel to it. And I took that same approach and I adapted that and put that onto, the instruments as well. So whereas we would normally quantize like a piano, we normally would quantize a bass. Instead, now I'm saying, I'm gonna take that off the grid too. So my kick and the snare may be on point, but my sample's off, my hi-hats are off, my percussion's off, the bass line's off, like nothing is on the grid. Everything is just how I played it. Sometimes I will go back and quantize, like the sample to just make sure that the chops are right. And then I'll nudge it off the grid. Nudging, I would say, would be one of the best things that you'd want to adapt in your DAW. It will become your best friend, and trying to capture that, that real human feel. So it feels like it's coming from here and not from the machine itself. Turn the quantize off sometimes and then see how it sounds. You might be surprised. Maybe one or two kicks may be off if you're doing a kick pattern. You may just want to move those couple of kicks on, to where they need to be. That's an option. Now, one last thing I want to talk about. I know I keep talking about Dilla, but Dilla always had this saying, real live shit. What he meant by that, or at least how I took it, just by being a fan and listening a lot, the type of atmosphere that he created through his music, it was a lot of quantity over quality. Who cares if I have the cleanest beat? I'm not making this for someone to, to go on an album. If it goes on an album, there's an engineer to mix it and make it crispy and make it sound how it needs to sound. But for me and for our niche, our community, this boom bap community, we like that real live shit. And what he means by that is he means we're not relying on the quality of the drums. We're not relying on a quality sample. We're not, give me the dirtiest drums, give me the dirtiest snares, give me the dirtiest hi-hats. We want all of that. We want all that crackle in there. We want all that noise in there because it felt real. Taking something from a record and then creating something fresh out of that. That's how I interpret that. That's something I live by. That's something I love. That's why, in a lot of my videos, that's why I love to sample for one. In a lot of my videos, I use a lot of drum loops because I love that element. I love live. I love, I like live bass. I like, I like it when it comes from a natural thing, and I'm not trying to create it with a computer or a DAW, or relying on the DAW to have these crazy sounds in it. What's something that you want to learn as a boom bap music producer? Leave it in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Let's have some discussion around it. All right. And until next time, I'm going to get out of here, y'all. Peace.